I don't give a fuck if I go blind. I don't need to see the price tag anyway.
Five Nights at Freddy's is obviously something that's been around for a very long time, and to say that there's only been a few fan games made about the franchise would be a massive understatement. And amongst the hundreds of thousands of fan games that have been made over the years, we have gotten some serious gems. Stuff like Juniors, Return to Bloody Nights, and Five Nights at Candy's, just to name a few. But obviously amongst that giant pool of fan games, some of those games are going to be, well, less than desirable. So today I'd like to tackle some of the worst Fnaf fan games out there. There have been a lot of games that are just really lazy and didn't age well, but a lot of these games are also honestly deplorable, and so are the creators, which we'll also get into. So with all that being said, thank you for clicking on this video, and let's begin.
What's up, YouTube? What's going on? Corey Continue, and welcome to Fnaf 3, a fan made. Of course, this isn't the real deal, or else, you know, this video would have been out yesterday. Why? 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. These, Five Nights at Freddy inspirational pieces. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza fixed. Okay. Yay! So I'm hitting you guys with another Five Nights at Freddy's. I know. They just keep coming my way.
Now, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, or Five Nights at Freddy's 3 Fan Made, was a game that was made by somebody who just got seriously impatient while waiting for the third game, which is insane because we got the first 3 games before the first game even turned a year old, so I don't really know how impatient you can be as a person. And although I remember when this game was popular and I remember watching it, there's an aspect to this game that I don't remember at all, and it made me laugh so hard when I heard it that I thought I was just gonna pass out. And that's the fact that I think that the producer of this game, within the midst of trying to find an effect over his voice to sound like the phone guy, you know, that like 90s bad phone quality kind of sound, his microphone just gets so blown out by whatever effect he used. It literally sounds like Jay Schlatt's funny mic.
Hey, why are you staying here?
It is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life, dude. You can tell that this guy has never done a day of voice acting in his life, and the transcript is ridiculous.
They walked around the day once, they walk around the day once again to please the children again.
I don't even understand how you can at least be good enough at game making to produce a playable video game, but also not be able to edit out you just doing a full-blown Porky Pig in the phone call. It's also low-hanging fruit to point out the fact that there's not one sliver of this game that is actually original to the creator. Every single camera is just a still shot of another camera from a different FNAF game. The layout of the pizzeria makes no sense, and it's just a horribly made combination of the first 2 games. Obviously, one of the biggest problems with this game was the fact that it was called Five Nights at Freddy's 3 while Scott Cawthon was in the midst of making the 3rd game, which you obviously cannot do. So the creator of the game had to switch the name from Five Nights at Freddy's 3 Fan Made to Return to Freddy's Classic, which is a horrible name. But this isn't the only thing he did wrong. He used fan-made unwithered animatronic PNGs from other creators. He used Candy the Cat, which got him in trouble from the creator of Candies. And the entire game just marketed itself as the real Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which obviously nobody actually thought that it was, but you obviously still can't do that. And all in all, the game was just a giant, horribly made mess. Now, Dormitus was one of those games where not only was it so bad that it was just dead and buried upon arrival, but it's even worse because the creator is also a bad person. At this point, I might get in trouble just by bringing this game up. Obviously, the first thing that everybody has to point out about Dormitus is that it is literally one of the ugliest games ever created. It's broken, it's ugly, the story is horrible, the gameplay is cooked. It's extremely repetitive, and although sometimes it can have a unique feel, trying to tackle the stressful feeling of the movement within the FNAF 4, but still feeding into the classic formula of the first 3 games, but it is not redeemable. It gets old very quickly. The William Afton of Dormitus's lore is named Garvey. I don't know why he's called Garvey, but just like his ugly ass name, he has an ugly ass model. You can hear Garvey personally by collecting tapes around the game and putting him into a cassette player where you can hear him talking to himself. I don't know really why this would be happening, but regardless. But for some reason, with one of these tapes where it talks about Garvey killing the girl that would be inside of Chica, it has some suggestive undertones. The game heavily implies that he raped the girl that he killed, which is not only gross and unnecessary, but it's also extremely disrespectful to put within a FNAF fan game. We saw the same thing with Lady Fitzy, where these idiots will just try to be as dark and horrible as they possibly can be by cramming as much deplorable shit as they possibly can for shock value. But the difference between him and some dumbass being an edgy kid shitter, he is actually like this. Blackout, being the creator of Dormitus, not only had suggestive themes within his own fan game, but he also got massive heat from the community because of some stuff that had came out where he was exposed for having fetishes of rape fantasies and necrophilia. Which, if you don't know, a necrophiliac is somebody who is unfortunately attracted to corpses. You know, like how Ted Bundy was. Somehow, Blackout has to be one of the luckiest people in the entirety of the FNAF community because this was seemingly forgotten about. He didn't really get in trouble for this. But fortunately for us, he would eventually get too far ahead of himself because he would later be exposed, and I'm not joking, for sexting not a 15-year-old, not a 14-year-old, not a 13-year-old, but a 12-year-old girl. I don't even know. Brother, I don't even know how to properly do commentary over that. He was swiftly and thankfully completely shunned away from the FNAF community, but then had the audacity to put this in the bio of his Game Jolt page. Jesus Christ, just leave me be. I don't want to live in your heads rent free, and I've moved on and you should as well. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I missed the part where texting a prepubescent child was something that was just forgivable and forgettable, right? Not only that, but sending them a photo of your naked ass. But hey, let's let bygones be bygones. I'll buy you a beer. What do you say? It is genuinely impressive the amount of delusion that you have to think that you can call the shots on anything after you've been caught doing something like that. Regardless, I want to move on from this topic, so let's go to the next game. Holy shit. Five Nights at Anime. Saying that name just makes my butt pucker. So, the game was just basically entirely made for Gooner bait, which at the time it executed very well. But you could definitely tell that the creators of the game really didn't put much effort into it at all. And I mean, why would they? It was literally just a 2D game. But I mean, this was bad. You could tell that every single aspect of the game was basically shoved aside just to make sure that the animatronics were as gooner bait as they possibly could be. Everything about the game was drawn. Not a single thing was 3D. It was all 2D, which can be effective if implemented well, but here it wasn't. It's like if Five Nights at Flumpty's was 10 times worse and also just for gooners. I'm not even gonna pretend and joke around that I could show the quote-unquote jump scares that this game has. They're online, you can go find them, and I'm sure you will, you fucking freak. There's not much else to say about this game. It got a few sequels, which was extremely surprising, but all in all, it really just became this like name that everybody knows about but not everybody remembers kind of thing. It was really just this enigma within all the FNAF fan games, but that's really just about it. There's not a lot of information on this game, but I just really thought it'd be a good introduction to what we're going to be getting into, so that brings us to the next game on the list. Five Nights at Freddy's Final Hours, especially the first one, is just kind of this enigma within the FNAF community, because I feel like I remember a time where a lot of people were talking about this game, but it also seems like nobody really remembers it at all. And I remember it was just kind of buried in my subconscious while I was looking for other FNAF fan games, so I decided to look it up, and my god, this game is just not really good. But it was made at a time where everybody was just so eager to have a FNAF free roam game that they were just going to take whatever they could get. And again, with the phone guy, if you are going to do a Five Nights at Freddy's game, a big part of that game is the narration of the phone guy. So please tell me you did it correctly. Did you do it well?
Hey there. I am your guide. I'll be telling you what's up.
Holy shit. Why is it so impossible for people to have good phone calls within their FNAF fan games? And I think I know why. But if I say it, I feel like I'm gonna get some heat. It seems like the people who do the phone calls like the worst are the people who don't seem like they speak English, which is obviously understandable, but at that point, why not make a FNAF fan game based off of your, native language? Like, I feel like I'm not talking to a phone guy, I feel like I'm talking to a damn telemarketer scammer. I'm sorry, I can't say that. But I just feel like that this game was just the epitome of mediocre, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that I could do any better, but when it comes to people hyping it up so much, like people like Fusion's the Gamer playing the game, and it getting like millions of views, then it just becomes kind of of this thing where it's like, okay, but why? But again, this game does have some really cool aspects to it when it comes to some of the stuff that would come later on. But as somebody who's actually played the game, it's only playable for maybe like 10 minutes before it kind of becomes just like a snooze fest. And it did try to have some lore build, but it never really built on the lore. And every single model was just kind of snatched from other game creators. And the game just became this giant question mark. But that's really it when it comes to this game. It was more of an honorable mention. That's gonna be it for today's video, and I know it was a super short one, but I'm pretty behind on the algorithm. I know I already made the poll talking about 2 10-minute videos a week or 1 20-minute video a week, and most people said the 20-minute video, and I understand that, and I probably will start doing that. But for now, I'm probably going to stick to the 2 10-minute videos for a little bit, and then I'll get back to my 20-minute videos, just because I got sick for so long that I just couldn't make a video for almost 2 weeks, and it just like really bent down on my numbers. But hopefully this will kind of kick it back up by making more videos every week, because, you know, consistency is key. And within the next week, I'm getting a gaming PC, so I promise you that my video quality will go up tremendously. After I get this PC, I am going to start doing live streams on YouTube instead of Twitch, because, you know, that's obviously where the majority of my audience is. And I hope to see all y'all there. So for now, I'm just going to be making shorter form content just for a little bit until I'm back on my feet, and then I'll start making much longer form content later on. I'm telling you, these live streams that I'm going to be hosting on YouTube instead of Twitch are going to be bussin'. So yeah, be ready for that. Regardless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.